I'm going to give you a quick review of the syllabus and the important parts that I think you need to know. As far as our grading scale, an A for this class is 94 to 100. So it's a little bit higher than the 90 to 100 you might have in other classes you take here at John A. And the other important part is failing is below a 78%. Participation points is something new we've added this semester, and there is going to be several different, there's going to be 100 points total you can earn throughout the semester. Participation points will vary based on your instructor, so that will be described to you on the first day. Homework, that's also 100 points worth of homework. They are due on the due date. Any homework not turned in by the due date is awarded a 0. So make sure that you're getting that homework done, as that helps to prepare you for the unit quizzes and for the final exam. Okay, so let's talk about quizzes. There's several different types of quizzes that you'll encounter in this class. There are 14 entry ticket quizzes. The point of these is to help prepare you for when you come to lab. So these are to be completed before you come to lab, and watch the due dates on that. It's basically exposing you to the material. You can take these quizzes multiple times to get the full 10 points, and it's helping you to start reviewing some of that information. The theory quizzes, those are over like the units. So unit 1 and 2, that's your first theory quiz. Then there's also an anatomy quiz, a midterm exam, and a final exam. So all of your quizzes, theory quizzes, are going to be online on D2L, with the exception of the midterm exam, which will be done in class. The theory quizzes, I know that you're going to be tempted to use your books, but I'm going to discourage that. I want you to actually study for the quiz as if you were taking it with no crutches in class, and that you try your best to do it without that. And then after you've done that, maybe then you can look something up if you wanted to. The thing that hurts students is that they do well on the theory quiz tests because they're taking them online during the pandemic, and then they get to the final and fail the final. It would be better for you to have a good idea earlier in the class that you're not doing so hot than to get all the way to the end of the class and fail. There are 10 midterm abbreviation quizzes. These are actually done in class because they're too easy to cheat on in online setting. So you'll do these in class. You'll have 10 minutes to complete the quiz. There are Quizlets that you can look at in the quiz prep section of the content for the week. It's important. If you do anything in the medical field, knowing medical abbreviations and knowing terminology is very important. And then the final theory quiz average. That is the average of all of your unit quizzes, your anatomy, and your midterm. And that has to be 78% or higher. That is 1/3 of your grade. If you score less than 78% on that theory quiz average, you cannot go on to take the final exam, and you failed the class. Once we figure out what your final theory quiz average is, then we'll add in participation points, then we'll add in homework and medical term and entry ticket points, which will help boost that up, hopefully, to give you a higher grade there. But you have to have at least 78%. If you miss a quiz, and it's an online quiz, then you get a 0. We will allow 1 grace quiz, and what that means is if you choose to take that online, whatever you score, you only get 50% of that. And if you want the chance to have for your grace quiz more points than that, then you can come and take it in person in the learning lab. So don't miss your quizzes. As far as in-person quizzes, you have to notify the instructor before class that you're not going to be there, or it's just a 0. And you have 1 week from when that quiz was scheduled to make that quiz up. Final exam will be given in person, and it is 100 questions. You have to score 78. Failing the final exam will result in failing the class. So the way to pass the final exam is to learn the material all throughout the course and not try to cram at the very end. You need to make sure you understand and that you're learning as you go, or you will fail the final. So all the little things that we're doing ahead of time, the entry tickets, the participation points, the discussion, the homework, all of that is helping you to be successful on the final. Let's talk about attendance. Attendance is very important in this class. Although I do not want you to expose anybody in the class to COVID or any other illness. So if you're not feeling well, I don't want you there. Okay. But we do have a camera in the classroom, and we will be streaming if we need to. And you're expected to be online watching the class or participating in the class online if you're on quarantine or if you're not able to be in class. Attendance is really important to success. If you are absent and you have work that needs to be made up, then that has to be done within 1 week of your absence, or you don't get the points for that. We also have a few other things that we've put in the syllabus this semester because we've had so many people just choosing not to come to class, or not participate. In an 8-week course, if you miss 5 days or you have 5 days in a row of not participating, that means you're not logging into D2L, or you are logging in, but you're not completing assignments. You can be withdrawn from the class. If you are in a 16-week course, that is 10 days of not participating. So make sure that if you're really sick, you're communicating with your instructor. You've got a plan in place, that you're somehow participating in some way at whatever level you can. Don't just ghost us and then expect to stay in the class 3 weeks later when you want to make things up. Okay. Then the other part is about missing lab. If you miss 25% of lab, so that's 2 lab days in an 8-week program or 4 lab days in a 16-week program, then you're going to be put on probation, and you'll have to meet with the program coordinator or the director of nursing to determine how you're going to proceed from here. COVID-related absence. If you do have COVID-related absence, we're going to need documentation of that. We're also going to need you to communicate with our COVID point person, Kathleen Doty. And so communication is just really important here. Okay. There are other things that are going to happen throughout the semester, such as fingerprinting. Everybody has to fill out that form, and then I'll do the background checks and determine if you need to be fingerprinted or not. And then COVID tests will be based on requirements of the clinical sites. That'll be told to you at a later time. TB tests, failure to have this completed prior to the start of clinical will cause you to be dropped from the program. So it's very important that you make those appointments to get your TB test done now. Do it right now. It takes at least 2 weeks to complete the 2-step process. It's 4 visits to your healthcare provider. Okay, if you have questions, let me know, but make those appointments right now, please. Medical conditions, if you have any ongoing medical conditions, including pregnancy, back pain, things of that nature over the last 6 months, you need to have a release that basically says that there's no physical restrictions for the job description of the nursing assistant. If something comes up during class, that's the same. As far as drugs and alcohol, just because marijuana is legal in Illinois does not mean that it's appropriate for you to come to class high or smelling like marijuana, or to come to the clinical site that way. Just because alcohol is legal, you wouldn't come to class drunk. And this is not acceptable. It's unprofessional. So please know that if you smell of marijuana, if you appear to be high, you will be escorted out by the campus security, or we will have the program, the director of nursing come down and speak with you. Not acceptable. Okay. And it's not acceptable in federally funded programs such as nursing homes or schools. So keep that in mind. Okay, I'm going to stop here and we'll start a new video to discuss clinical. Please continue to watch so you know the important things.